His ex's parents already threatened to sue for the money that they paid if he doesn't marry their daughter. But Sam says he'd rather pay them back for their contribution than marry someone that betrayed him. Back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story titled, Am I the A-hole for helping my brother run away from his wedding? And a big shout out to Joseph for sending me this story. And guys, this is all about a guy who, just like in this story says, or the title says, at the very last minute, and I do mean the last minute, the day of the wedding, right when the ceremony is about to start, goes run away from his wedding. And why does he do so? Because he found out that the gal he was going to marry him, in his eyes, pretty much betrayed him over a very, very serious issue. She's toast. And as you can probably imagine, there's a whole lot of fireworks, especially since you can tell this is a long video. There's fireworks with her family, with her, issues with his own family. It's a whole dramathon. And this is actually, what I'm doing here is, this is a 5-part story that was posted. Now I'm going to cover part 1 and 2, which is the longer parts, and then in another video 3, 4, and 5. And if another update happens to come along, I'll tack that along. And it's definitely an entertaining one that you guys are certainly going to enjoy. Now I'm not going to reveal any more, but you'll find out in real time what the deal is with the betrayal and all that. So it starts off, he says here, this, by the way, this is narrated by the younger sister who helped the older brother here. She says here, I have 2 older brothers, and this is about the middle one. Our parents divorced when I was very young due to our mother's insane jealousy. At first my dad was able to handle it, but when she started making comments about me wanting to be like his wife, he had enough. She quickly rebounded with a guy with 2 kids and had shared custody for a while. But when my dad got remarried, she went absolutely crazy, calling his new wife every horrible name and claiming that he was cheating on her while they were married. I was always closer to my brothers and dad than my mom because she was always very mean to me. Long story short, my stepmom died in a bad car accident, and my dad called her in the middle of the night, letting her know he would pick us up early so she could attend a funeral, and she decided that she was going to take us on a fun trip to celebrate. It was the happiest we've ever seen her, and when we realized what happened and started crying, she told us only worthless people cry for, wait for it, WHORES. So in other words, guys, their real mother is a complete and total a-hole. All right? Complete, just a heartless asshole. There, I said it. I got to try to watch my language here, but yeah, there I said it. Therefore, as you're going to see, this is going to involve their wacko mother. And I've heard people say, like, how could someone cut their mother off or anything like that? Well, let me tell you guys, throughout my life, I've known people, friends, acquaintances, all that, who has some pretty rotten family members and some even awful mothers. It's sad, but it happens. Needless to say, things went nuclear and my dad asked for full custody with visitation for her. He always left the line of communication open and paid for us to visit her when she moved away. But it was still very bad, and as soon as we turned 18, we started to lower our contact with her. Last time we saw her was on my high school graduation, where she made the point of letting everyone who would hear that we were ungrateful kids, and her husband would call us bad names too, and have been in no contact ever since. So there's obviously a reason why these kids who are now adults want nothing to do with their mom, because she is a total a-hole and drama and trouble and all that. He says, my brother Sam started dating his ex 3 years ago. She has heard all the stories and the reasons we are no contact, but she believes we are just being dramatic. She had many issues due to her opinions, but she eventually seemed to drop the you need to reconcile with your mother crusade. Sam is the dude who is going to kick her to the curb the day of the wedding. So this girl he's marrying is sticking her nose in family business, thinking she knows better. Not good. During the wedding planning, there was no indication of things going wrong or fishy. Then we got to the church, and lo and behold, Mom, her husband, and 2 kids were sitting in the front row. Wait a second here. Why is Mom there? Who invited them? Because she's obviously persona non grata. Well, take a wild guess. The bride. Going against the guy's wishes because she knows better. I immediately panicked and called my brothers. Sam thought that maybe somehow she found out and wanted to crash the wedding, so he called his ex to let her know of the potential drama, but she told him it was fine since she invited them. That is a boundary she knows obviously not to cross, but she thinks she knows better. Sounds like this guy married a younger version of his mother, or was about to. Sam hung up the phone and asked me to go get him while oldest brother dealt with things at the church. We went home and barricaded ourselves, even when his ex, her family and friends, etc. came to try and make sense with him. Mom's husband even called and said he always knew we were worthless. Now the dust is settled, most of Sam's friends are on his side, and so is most of our family, the dad's side of the family. Well, how about that? Just like that. At least this guy saw this happen right before. He at least saw her true colors. Imagine if she didn't invite the mom to the wedding, a line you did not cross, obviously, because it's the mother's persona non grata. They want nothing to do with her because she's trash, she's drama, all that. Imagine he married her, and then she let out her true colors. So at least he dodged a big one, and you want to talk about the last minute. It goes on. His ex's parents already threatened to sue for the money that they paid if he doesn't marry her. But Sam says he'd rather pay them back for their contribution than marry someone that betrayed him. My nuclear family 100% supports Sam, but the backlash has been huge. I'd rather pay them back too for their contributions than have to marry her. She says, as an edit, you guys just reassured us all, and thank you. Some have commented about it, but no, she has not apologized. She even went so far to text my oldest brother, Joe, that she thought it would be a good wedding present for my brother to have her since she values family. He didn't want the mother at the wedding. He didn't want anything to do with the mother, and she can't respect that. And she's one of these people that family comes first type of thing. Well, when they're a-holes, there's a reason they don't come first. In this situation, not at all. My dad bought them a house as a wedding present, but only Sam is on the deed. She has the keys for when they moved there, but just had the locks changed today. And Joe had some cousins, and they're taking everything Sam owns from her flat during this week. We aren't worried about that being sued, but we'll consult a lawyer just in case. Thank God his dad, who bought him a house as a gift, did not put her name on the deed. We also heard Mom and her family are still in town, but since we are all staying at our childhood home for a few days, we don't care. My dad is sad that Sam is heartbroken, but is trying to cheer him up along with my boyfriend and sister-in-law. I had to delete and deactivate my SM because I kept getting nasty comments and messages, but the more people learn the reason Sam ran away, the less it gets. I'm still sorry she felt humiliated, but my brother comes first. No, don't feel bad for his ex because she started this. He made abundantly clear, I want nothing to do with my mom from the get-go, and she kept pushing and then invites him at the last minute. And you know darn well the mother knows that the guy doesn't want it. The mother showed up, obviously just to spite all of them. Now, more updates and all. She says here, we are 34, 32, and 28, and my ex-sister-in-law is 30, not in the U.S. She says, I asked Joe about the church aftermath, and it was just as I expected. He says he stood up in front of everyone and told them Sam was not coming and to please go home, and all their gifts delivered to our side of the family will be given back ASAP. Can you imagine giving that speech or being in the audience to hear that speech? I've never known anybody been at a wedding where it's canceled at the last minute. That's only shit you see in TV and movies, but maybe one of you guys out there have been to a wedding where that happened. The ex was still outside the church when someone in her family informed her, and she started screaming and crying and calling Sam nonstop. Mom tried to talk to Joe, and that didn't even look at her. When she couldn't get a reaction out of him, she started crying loudly and lamenting how horrible we are to her, and some people started consoling her. This is her MO, but Joe and his wife didn't care. When they went out of the church, the ex was expecting them and demanded to see Sam, but Joe said no. Then she demanded to know what to do with the party, and he said if she didn't want the venue, he would arrange for the food to be donated to the staff so it wouldn't go to waste. Everybody was screaming except Joe because he didn't want to give Mom the satisfaction. I'm trying to imagine this whole scream fest going on. This bride, this a-hole bride having a complete meltdown and all that. Good Lord. They, Joe and the sister-in-law, came home. Joe's a brother, and Joe has the sister-in-law she's referred to as Joe's wife, who seems like a normal one. Came home after stopping at the supermarket and some fast food joints, and we've been inside like we are kids again, plus 2 more members. We asked Sam if he wanted them to go, but he said he wanted them there. We had all taken time off to spend family time after the wedding anyway, so it's not a problem at the moment. When the ex came to the gate, we knew she was not going to use the venue, so my sister-in-law called them with Sam's information, told them to take the food, and also sent them some tips for their trouble. It seems we were all going to get back all the alcohol that my dad paid for, so we will have a very drunk end of the year. The impression I got from reading this story is this family, this girl and her brothers, they got money. Sounds like they're pretty well off. They're in the top percentage of income. A couple of people messaged me asking why did our dad ever marry our mom, and the answer is he really loved her and believed she was the nicest person ever. Yeah, get in line, dude. Plenty of guys thought the same thing about their wives. Turns out she wasn't, but she knew nobody, except I guess her nasty husband, that would marry her unless she pretended to be nice. He considered staying with her until we were adults, but she kept getting worse. She used to get very nice, and he thought she was changing, and then she would change again. As per my ex-sister-in-law, we have no doubt she believes mom is a nice person and has ungrateful children because she's extremely charming, and for some people it's funny to make fun of others as long as it's not directed at them, but it doesn't excuse her actions. So it sounds like the mom sounds like a sociopath, where she can just put on the charm and all that, but really she's this angry as all hell snake in disguise. The only person Sam gave an explanation was his boss, who was at the church, but he's a very understanding guy and was pretty shocked at what my mom put us through since we are fairly adjusted, happy people. Our dad said that it was a shock for all of us and we can stay home as long as we need. Sam is moving home for the time being. I showed my family the post and they are moved by your niceness, but Sam wants you all to know the ex wasn't showing any concerning behaviors and he truly believes she understood his upbringing. Well, I disagree with that because in the beginning, this sister says that she kept bugging him about having a relationship with his mom. It sounded like she was a giant pain in the ass about this. Like, it sounds like she fully knew. And then at the last minute, invited the mom and all of them at the last minute to the wedding. I mean, that's a line you don't cross. He can't trust her. What else, if he married her, what else would she do because she thought she knew better? Right? Think about that. He agreed to talk to her and her parents today, but only if it's at our home, and we are there to support him, so it's going to be an interesting visit. You can bet your ass it's going to be an interesting visit. Now we're on to the official update, the part 2 to this story, about when he meets with her, and all the turmoil and the drama with the ex, her parents, all that, and more information about the mother and the family and all that. So the update is called Update to My Runaway Brother. She says, first, some extra info. Sam lost some money, but it's not going to hurt him. Her parents paid for her dress, a very fancy cake, and part of the honeymoon. Well, I'd be disappointed if a cake went to waste. I love cake. I love wedding cake. That's the only reason you're going to ever get me to go to a wedding, even reluctantly, because I hate weddings. Wedding cake. Last one I went to, I must have had 5 slices of cake. I just sat there, one sliced after the other. Anyway, you can tell I'm hungry. I got to go get some lunch after this video. Ex wasn't the most beloved in-law, but we truly believe she loved Sam. Bullshit. She loved him as long as he followed her rules. That's not love. We have no contact with mom's side of the family. Joe used to have some with grandma, but after his wedding, another shit show avoided, he cut her off too. So the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree. Mom's an a-hole, grandma's an a-hole. Mom's comments about me wanting to be the wife came from her belief that it was not right for us to have daddy-daughter days as our outings. The thing is, there were also Daddy Joe days, Daddy Sam days. He always tried to spend time with us alone and as a group. She is just sick. The mother's jealous of the time that her dad was spending with her. What does that tell you? We don't advertise our childhood, so when people ask us about our parents, the standard answer is, it's just my dad. Or it's just my siblings and my dad. Most people assume mom is dead, and it helps avoid the whole inquiry about not talking to her. Mom's stepkids are both male and in their early 30s. Well, their mother didn't waste any time remarrying and having more kids to secure herself. Dad has a long-term girlfriend, and we like her a lot. She has been doing her own stuff these past few days, but she says we have her full support. Okay, those were referring to questions people had. Now on to the update, she says. I was wondering why Sam accepted the meeting with the in-laws or ex-in-laws after not even talking to her, But it turns out she sent videos and photos of all these things on the floor to his best friend Tom and told him that Sam either talked to her or she would burn it all. Oh my God, one of those. You guys have probably seen movies where the guy does something, supposedly, and the gal takes all his clothes and puts it in the front yard or in his car and lights it on fire, and she's the hero and he's the bad guy. But here we go, real life. You better come talk to me or I'm going to burn your clothes. Again, he dodged a big one. Tom came to visit Sam, told him what happened, and they informed her they need access to the flat before anything happens. Tom, Joe, and a couple of cousins and my boyfriend went and took his clothes, electronics, important paperwork, etc. Sam said he didn't care about the rest and even made a little joke about them being the fastest moving crew he ever knew. The meeting was, for lack of a better word, a ridiculous event. She came with her parents and sisters, tried to talk to Sam alone, but when he didn't allow it, she just started talking. Not once did she apologize. She said it's not her fault, we don't understand the value of a real family, and we were raised to hate mothers. There you go. Again, he dodged a big one. She didn't even apologize for her going behind his back and doing it, knowing full well that that was a no-go, you don't go there. And again, she knows better. A real family wouldn't do that. There's a reason they don't talk to their mother. That her only intention was for Sam to learn to value mothers because she was scared he would take her children away from her because that is what he was taught to do. What a load of crap. Sam didn't say anything until she threw that this family is like a cult and you're a terrible father, looking at my dad. As you may imagine, this is a sore spot for all of us and we don't allow insults toward our dad under any circumstances. Way to stick together. I like how this family, the siblings are all together. Usually the siblings squabble, particularly in wealthy families. Sam just unloaded about how she was a hateful liar. He was disgusted he ever touched her hand. He was grateful to the universe I am chronically early to everything. He told her staying with a cheating husband as her mom does is nothing to be proud of about. He said she pretended to be nice just so he would marry her. Unloaded all the minor things that he was willing to overlook because he truly did love her, or at least who he thought she was. He said he would never forgive her for the hurt she caused his siblings, but he doesn't hate her because she would require him to spend energy thinking about her, and she doesn't get that. There you go. At the end, he said he had enough time to clear things out, and since she had acted like a victim, he will be the one to let everybody know why he didn't show. It was a brutal but cathartic and necessary for Sam. Her parents said nothing but were very red. She was crying. Well, of course she was crying, because what else is there to do? All else fails, let out the waterworks. But again, she never apologized. She knows better. Again, it sounds like this dude almost married a woman just like his mom. Isn't that amazing? Her sisters attempted to defend her and their parents' relationship and were kind of expecting my whole family to argue too, but we didn't. Then Sam told his ex-father-in-law he could sue if he wanted, but if he did, Sam would expose all his family's dirty laundry to the world, and he doubts he wants that. Amazingly, the dad still argued Sam could try and make amends and marry his ex because they are not getting any younger and all families fight. I never rolled my eyes any harder. The rest of the meeting went all about logistics for the return of the wedding gifts already received, stopping the harassment from their family, the cancellation and refund of the honeymoon, the changing the locks, etc. Talk about a shit show, huh? The ex just kept crying and trying to talk to Sam, but he was in the business mode now and didn't want anything from her. He only replied to her directly when she said she was keeping her engagement ring with nobody asked for it. They left without any issues. Of course she's keeping the engagement ring. I knew that was coming. Because, of course, in her eyes, it's a gift. No, that's on the basis that we get married. If not, give it back. When the booze was delivered, Mom and her husband sneaked through the gate and we opened it. She said she just wanted to talk to her babies and my dad asked her to leave. She kept screaming he raised us wrong and we just embarrassed her with our behavior. She couldn't believe we were such bad people and we should start making amends with her because we clearly lacked maternal love, and she got that right, and this was the pathetic result. How did she even get close to their house? And they said gates, because obviously they got money. You think they may have a little security or something going on there to keep the mother away. At that point, Joe went out and told her to leave since the police were on the way. She took it as an opportunity to cry since it's the first time in about a decade he talked to her and tried to sweet talk him into going to grab dinner with her and her husband. But Joe just told her to leave, and the only news he ever wanted to hear related to her were the ones about her funeral so he could go celebrate. God damn. Clearly there's a lot more going on with their wacko mom than this girl's mentioning here. Cue to hysterical crying and screaming from the husband, demanding an apology and threatening to hit Joe. Dad and Joe went back inside and left them until we saw that they left and closed the gate. It is hard for some people to understand why we react the way we do. But the thing is, I wrote about our mother are just the tip of the iceberg. That's what I thought. Dad wasn't exactly proud of what Joe said, but he understood he needed to let it out, and he was speaking for all of us. Maybe that makes us bad people, but we truly don't want to see this woman ever again. Like I said, guys, I've known some people that have had wacko mothers. One in particular I can think of, and believe me, they had good reason. Maybe some of you guys have known, and it's not always the wacko mom, it could be also a wacko dad. We're all going to have some family therapy besides our individual ones. Sam doesn't want the house anymore, but my dad says to take it slow, and the first step is to mend his heart. We've had horror movie marathons and some Disney classics sprinkled here and there. We also had a drama bingo thing that's been going on, and that could possibly happen because I guess we are truly dramatic after all. There is drama going on with this family. I'm not going to deny that. We love each other, we're raised to treat people well, but we can be pretty petty when pushed. I also feel better knowing she humiliated herself, and while I wouldn't wish to be left at the church to anybody, I would do it again because I love my brothers more than I feel bad for her. We'll be going on a family trip eventually, but right now we will continue our staycation. You know what? It's a wacko situation, but I'm glad the siblings are all loyal, stick together, and all that. That's cool. To the person that said Joe is a hero, his siblings couldn't ask for a better brother and friend. We've read everything so far. Thank you for letting me vent. The awards, the PMs, I'm sorry if my English was not up to the standards. Joe and Sam's names are obviously fake. But, Daniela, go fuck yourself. Daniela is the ex-sister-in-law, the chick that this dude was going to marry. She says, little note, my brothers are reading your messages and comments. They want to know that we know how lucky we are. They appreciate the positivity and want you to know it gets better, and you are all welcome to our cult. So there you go. That is the first two parts of the story, and there's going to be 3, 4, and 5. I'll do another video tomorrow. I was going to break this into 2 parts, but I figured you guys like these things, so I was going to jam it together. So we're looking at 22 minutes here, not too bad. But anyhow, guys, right there on the day of the wedding, right before the ceremony, he got there, boom, walked away. But you know what? Far better going through that than marrying a freaking harpy and having her try to let her true colors come out and ruin his life. He dodged a bullet big time there. Now, the next part, you're going to get more into what goes on after this because it is not over with the ex. It's not over with the crazy mother or her wacko family and more things about the family and all that. But anyway, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, also, if you got a good story you'd like to share, a good personal story of your own, or something you came across online, Reddit, whatever, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I will. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.